The Dragon Emperor lay alone in his throne room. The walls were tall and cold, carved from black stone that glowed faintly in the dim light. His scales, once bright like molten gold, were now dull and cracked. Every breath he took was slow and heavy, like he was carrying the weight of 1,000 worlds. No one was there. No guards, no servants, not even a single friend. He had ruled for centuries, yet now he faced the end in silence. Outside the palace, the great cities of his empire were empty. Streets that once roared with life were quiet. Markets stood abandoned, and the dragons that had once patrolled the skies now slept in distant lands. Stories of his power were told, but no one dared to come close. Everyone had left, thinking he was already dying. And maybe he was. A soft sound echoed in the throne room, a careful, steady footstep. A human, small and ordinary, moved through the shadows. He wore simple clothes and carried a tool belt filled with strange devices. His eyes were wide with awe and a little fear. Humans rarely entered dragon palaces. Some believed dragons would burn them alive. Yet, this human moved closer, quietly, as if the air itself bowed to him. The emperor opened one eye. It was like the eye of a star fading at dawn. He watched the human for a long moment. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice a soft rumble. I fix things," the human said, his voice trembling. "I heard you might need help." The emperor let out a dry, tired laugh. "Help? You? I am the Dragon Emperor. I have seen stars die, worlds fall, and empires burn. What can a human do for me now?" The human stepped closer, holding his small tools in one hand, and in the other, a strange glowing device. "I don't know yet, but maybe I can do something. I want to try." The emperor studied him. For centuries, he had been surrounded by loyal dragons, scholars, and warriors. All had abandoned him. And now, a single human stood before him, without fear, offering hope. Something deep inside the old dragon stirred, a faint warmth he had not felt for a long time. "You are brave, or foolish," the emperor whispered. "Perhaps both." "Very well. I am dying. If you cannot help me, it will be the end." The human nodded, though his hands shook. He had never faced anything like this before. He had repaired machines, engines, even broken ships, but nothing alive, nothing as powerful as a Dragon Emperor. Yet he refused to step back. Somehow, deep inside, he knew that he was meant to be here. As the human examined the emperor, he noticed the strange patterns in his scales. They pulsed faintly, like the last beats of a dying heart. He placed a small device near the emperor's chest. It began to glow brighter, humming softly. The emperor felt a spark, tiny, almost invisible, but enough to bring a faint smile to his tired face. You may not know it, human," he said, "but you have already done something no dragon has done in centuries. You dared to come close." The human looked up. "I just want to help. That's all." The emperor chuckled softly, a sound like distant thunder. "Help, yes, that is rare. Even rarer is the courage it takes to face a dying dragon alone. Most would have fled. Most would have waited outside until I fell silent." A long silence followed. The human continued to work quietly, adjusting the device, scanning the emperor's heart, trying to understand what could save him. The room was filled with a strange energy, a mixture of fear, hope, and something ancient. The emperor felt the warmth spread slowly through his chest. It was not enough to heal him completely, but it was a beginning. Something new was happening, something he had not felt in centuries. For the first time in his life, he realized that maybe, just maybe, this human could change everything. You are different from all the others," the emperor said. "Perhaps this is why I am still alive, to see what a human can do." The human looked at him, a little shy but with determination. "I don't know if I can save you completely," he said, "but I will not leave you alone. Not now. Not ever." The emperor closed his eyes, feeling the faint spark of life the human had given him. For the first time in centuries, he did not feel alone. And outside, in the silent cities, the world waited, unaware that something extraordinary had begun inside the old, dying throne. The Dragon Emperor, once thought lost, had been seen by a human who dared to come close. And perhaps for the first time, hope had returned. The Dragon Emperor lay on his throne, weak but alive. The faint spark of life the human had given him kept his heart beating, but it was not enough. Every breath was a struggle. The human stood beside him, unsure what to do next. He had never faced a task like this. Saving a dragon, especially the emperor, was far beyond fixing a broken engine or a ship. The emperor opened his eyes slowly, their golden glow dim but still alive. "Human," he whispered, "to save me completely, you must do something dangerous. Something few would dare." The human swallowed hard. "I'll try anything," he said. "Tell me what I need to do." The Emperor's voice was weak but firm. "To live, I need half of your heart. Not all. Not your body. But your heart, your courage, your life force. It must merge with mine. Only then can I survive." The human froze. Half of his heart? He had heard legends of humans bonding with dragons, but never like this. It sounded impossible. He had a family, a life, and dreams. Giving half his heart could cost him his life. He looked at the Emperor. Even in his weakened state, the dragon's eyes were filled with ancient wisdom and something else. "Oh, I don't know if I can do that," the human said. His voice shook. "It could kill me." The Emperor gave a faint smile. "I know. That is why few humans have ever tried. But I sense something in you, something different. You are not like the others. You have courage and a heart willing to take risks." The human looked down at his hands. They were small, ordinary hands. How could such hands save a being as powerful as the Dragon Emperor? But inside he felt a fire. He had seen the world suffer when the dragon was weak. He had heard the stories of what the Emperor had done, protecting planets, saving civilizations, keeping balance. And now that greatness was slipping away. He could not stand aside. I will try," he said finally, his voice stronger. "Tell me what to do." The Emperor's chest rose slowly as he nodded. "Good. Listen carefully. The bond will hurt. It will pull your life force into me. You will feel pain, fire, cold, but you must endure. If you falter, both of us will die." The human took a deep breath. He had never been braver in his life, and yet fear ran through him like ice. He stepped closer. "I'm ready," he said. The Emperor extended one of his massive claws, gently placing it on the human's shoulder. "Then focus, human. Focus on your heart, on your courage. Let me feel it. Let me live through you." The human closed his eyes. He imagined his heart glowing, strong and bright, flowing into the Emperor. He pictured the dragon alive again, whole, breathing freely. Slowly he felt warmth spreading from his chest. It was painful, strange, and beautiful all at once. His heartbeat seemed to echo inside the Emperor's chest. The Emperor groaned. "Yes, I can feel it, your life, your courage, it is enough." Suddenly, a wave of energy swept through the throne room. The human felt like he was being pulled in all directions at once. His body shook. His vision blurred. But he held on. He focused on the Emperor, on keeping the bond alive. The dragon's breathing grew steadier, and a faint glow surrounded him. "You are doing it, human," the Emperor said. "I can feel life again. I can survive." The human gritted his teeth. Pain shot through his chest, but he would not give up. He thought of all the people who depended on the Emperor, all the worlds that would fall without him. He thought of the dragons and humans who once lived in harmony. He thought of hope. That hope gave him strength. Finally, the wave of energy calmed. The throne room was quiet except for their breathing. The human opened his eyes. He felt tired, weak, but alive. The Emperor's chest glowed faintly, alive in a way it had not been for centuries. You did it," the Emperor said, his voice stronger now. "You have given me half your heart. I can live, thanks to you." The human smiled weakly. "Half my heart, that's all it took?" The Emperor chuckled softly. Perhaps. But your courage, your willingness, that is what saved me. Few humans have that." The human felt a strange warmth in his chest, a bond he could not explain. He realized that he and the Emperor were connected now, in a way that went beyond life or death. The dragon's heartbeat echoed with his own. "You changed everything, human," the Emperor said. "Not just my life, the life of every world I protect. You have done something extraordinary." The human nodded, still amazed. "I didn't know I could, but I guess we both survived because we tried." The Emperor looked around the empty throne room, his strength slowly returning. "There is much to do. My empire, my dragons, they need me. And I need you." The human felt fear and excitement at the same time. He had come to fix a dragon, but he had done something more. He had saved a legend. And now, together, they would face the future. Outside, the cities waited, silent but alive. Inside the palace, the Dragon Emperor breathed easier, knowing he was no longer alone. And the human, small but brave, realized that even the simplest heart could do the impossible. The throne room was quiet except for the soft hum of energy between the human and the Dragon Emperor. The half-heart bond had given the Emperor life, but it was only a beginning. The human knew it. He had seen the faint glow in the Emperor's chest pulse weakly. To save him completely, something greater had to be done. "You must let me fully feel your heart," the Emperor said. His voice was stronger now but still tired. It is the only way I can heal fully. Half is not enough. The fusion must be complete. The human nodded, though his hands shook. He had never imagined doing something like this. He was not a warrior, not a hero. He was a mechanic, a fixer of machines. Yet here he was, about to merge his life with one of the oldest, most powerful beings in the universe. "I'm ready," he said, though a wave of fear passed through him. The Emperor lowered his massive head. His golden eyes glowed brighter. "Focus on your heart, human. Do not think of fear or pain. Only life. Only courage." The human closed his eyes. He felt his heartbeat, strong and steady, and imagined it flowing outward, connecting with the Emperor's. Light shimmered faintly from his chest, spreading like tiny sparks. The air in the room seemed to vibrate with energy. The dragon's chest pulsed in response, and the bond grew stronger. Suddenly, a bright wave of energy shot between them. The human's body shook. He felt heat, cold, and fire all at once. Pain rippled through his chest, and his vision blurred. But he held on. He could not stop. He could not let the Emperor die. The Emperor groaned. "Yes, feel it, human. Let it flow, let us merge." The human focused harder. He imagined his courage, his memories, his life, all flowing into the Emperor. The energy swirled around them, bright and powerful. He could feel something ancient and vast touching him, a strength older than stars. For a moment, he felt afraid that he would vanish entirely. But he pushed the fear away, concentrating only on the bond. The Emperor's breathing grew steadier. His chest glowed stronger than it had in centuries. "It is working, human," he whispered. "Your heart, your life, it is enough." The human felt warmth spreading through him, a strange connection. He could feel the Emperor's pulse in his own chest. Their hearts beat together like two rivers joining into one. He realized something. He and the Emperor were no longer separate. They were linked in life, in energy, in soul. "Almost there," the Emperor said. "Do not falter now. We are close." The throne room shook slightly, as if the palace itself had sensed the power. Light danced along the walls, reflecting off the dragon's scales. Sparks flew from the human's device, which he had barely noticed he was holding. The energy was alive, moving, pulsing. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The human's legs trembled, but he kept standing. He felt the pain, but it was bearable because he knew he was saving a life far greater than his own. The Emperor's breathing deepened, and the glow in his chest expanded. It wrapped around them both, a shield of light, a promise of life. Then, slowly, the wave of energy calmed. The light dimmed but did not vanish. The human fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. He could feel the bond, faint but steady, between him and the Emperor. The Dragon Emperor opened his eyes fully. They shone like molten gold, brighter than they had in centuries. His chest rose and fell easily. You have done it," he said, his voice full of awe. "You gave me life, fully. Not just half, but a bond that will last forever. You have fused your heart with mine." The human looked up, still breathing hard. I survived. I can feel it, you're alive, strong." The Emperor lowered his massive head and touched the human gently with his claw. "I have lived for thousands of years," he said softly, "yet never have I felt this. A human has saved me, not with power, not with strength, but with courage and heart." The human smiled weakly. "I just did what I could. I never thought it would be like this." "You have changed everything," the Emperor said. "The bond we share, it is more than life. It is trust, it is hope, it is future." The human stood slowly. Though weak, he felt a new strength inside him. Something had changed. He could sense the Emperor, feel his heartbeat even when they were apart. He realized that this bond had made him part of something bigger than himself, something extraordinary. Outside, the world was still quiet, but the cities and skies waited. The Dragon Emperor would rise again, and now he would not rise alone. The human had risked everything, given his heart, and created a link that no enemy could break. The Dragon Emperor looked at the human and nodded. "Together we will rebuild. Together we will face whatever comes. You have given me half your heart, but perhaps in the end, we have both gained something greater." The human smiled faintly, feeling the warmth of life, courage, and connection. He had risked his life, faced the impossible, and survived. And now he was part of a legend that would live forever. The Dragon Emperor stood on the balcony of his throne room, the wind brushing over his scales, shining brighter than they had in centuries. Beside him, the human mechanic, exhausted but alive, looked out at the cities below. For the first time in a long time, the world felt alive. The streets, once empty and silent, now had a faint hum of life. Merchants had returned, travelers wandered cautiously, and small dragons patrolled the skies above the palace. The emperor turned his golden eyes to the human. "We have much to do," he said. "The empire, the dragons, they are weak. They need guidance, protection, and hope. And I need you." The human swallowed hard. He had never imagined being part of something so big. He had fixed machines, not ruled kingdoms. Yet here he was, beside a living legend, helping to rebuild a universe. "Where do we start?" he asked. The emperor's voice was calm but firm. "First we restore the cities. The humans and dragons must feel safe again. Then we must reunite the scattered dragon warriors. They have not fought in decades, but they will remember their duty when they see me." The human nodded. He had grown used to following the emperor's lead. Somehow he knew he could trust him completely. Together they descended from the balcony, their steps echoing through the palace halls. Each step seemed to awaken the building itself. Cracks in the walls closed slowly, faint golden light flowing through the stone. The emperor had always been powerful, but now, fused with the human's courage, he radiated energy that even the palace could feel. Outside, citizens stopped and stared. Some were afraid at first. Dragons had long been feared, but when they saw the emperor moving with strength and calm, many bowed instinctively. They had known of his power, and now they sensed his return. The human walked beside him, helping where he could. He repaired broken gates, fixed collapsed bridges, and guided citizens to safety. It was not much, but each small act made a difference. The emperor watched quietly, his golden eyes filled with gratitude. "Your hands are simple," the emperor said softly, "but your courage, it rebuilds more than stone. It rebuilds hope." The human smiled faintly. "I just do what I can." Days passed. Dragons returned to the skies, their wings slicing through clouds once again. The emperor called them to him one by one. He spoke to each warrior, teaching them patience, control, and the value of humans. Slowly the old bonds returned. Dragons remembered the old days when humans and dragons fought together, protected together, and lived together. But not everything was easy. Some dragons were angry at the emperor for leaving them alone. Some humans feared the dragons still. And enemies, hidden in the shadows, were plotting, waiting for a chance to strike while the empire was weak. The human stood beside the emperor in the command hall, watching the maps of the empire. "Do you think they'll try something?" he asked. The emperor nodded slowly. "They will. But we are ready. Not just because of strength but because of trust. The bond we share, it gives me insight, foresight. I can feel danger sooner now." The human's heart raced. He felt the bond too, faint but real, connecting him to the emperor in ways he could not explain. He realized that even simple humans could change the course of history. He had given half his heart, yes, but now he was part of something greater than himself. Together they traveled across the empire, visiting towns, villages, and cities. Wherever they went, the people were amazed. A human and a dragon emperor walking side by side. Once unimaginable, now real. People began to trust again. Small acts of kindness returned. Markets opened, children played, and dragons soared above, their roars echoing like music. The emperor paused one day, looking over a small village. Smoke rose from chimneys, laughter echoed in the streets, and small dragons played with children. He turned to the human. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We rebuild not just the cities but the bond between humans and dragons. That is our true work." The human nodded. He had thought he was just a mechanic. Now he realized he was part of a legend, part of a future that had been written long before him. He felt proud, scared, and alive all at once. That night, as the sun set behind the mountains, the emperor and the human stood on a hill overlooking the empire. Stars began to shine above, and the world seemed peaceful again. The emperor lowered his head slightly. "We have done much, human. But there is still more to do. Together we can protect this world and many others. You have given me courage, and in return, I give you purpose." The human looked up at the glowing stars, feeling the bond between them stronger than ever. He had risked his life, merged his heart with a dragon, and saved a legend. And now he would help rebuild not just an empire, but trust, hope, and a future where humans and dragons could stand together. The empire was alive again. Dragons and humans moved as one. And in the quiet night, the dragon emperor breathed deeply, no longer alone, knowing that the future was bright because a simple human dared to give half his heart. The dragon emperor stood on the highest balcony of his restored palace, his golden scales glowing in the morning sun. Below him the empire had come alive. Cities buzzed with life. Dragons soared in the skies, their wings cutting through clouds. Humans walked freely alongside them, no longer afraid. The world had changed. It was no longer broken. And the Dragon Emperor was no longer dying. Beside him, the human mechanic stood, tired but smiling. His hands were calloused, his clothes worn, but his eyes shone with pride. He had risked everything to save a legend, and now he was part of that legend himself. The bond between them was strong and unbreakable. The Emperor's heartbeat, fused with the human's courage, pulsed gently against his chest. They were connected, two beings from different worlds, bound by trust, hope, and life itself. The Emperor looked down at the streets, then back at the human. "You have done more than I could have imagined," he said. "Half your heart gave me life. Your courage gave me hope. Together we have rebuilt what was lost. And yet, this is only the beginning." The human nodded, still trying to take it all in. "I never thought I could do something like this. I just wanted to help." The Emperor smiled, a sound like distant thunder mixed with warmth. "That is what makes humans extraordinary. You are simple yet brave. Ordinary yet capable of the impossible. You have reminded me why I fight, why I protect, why I live." News of the Emperor's survival spread across the empire. People came from far and wide to witness the return of a dragon thought lost. They saw a human standing beside him and gasped. It was incredible, almost unbelievable. A human had saved the Dragon Emperor. Not with weapons, not with armies, but with heart, courage, empathy. In the palace courtyard, dragons and humans gathered together for the first time in decades. The Emperor raised his massive claws and spoke to the crowd. "We are stronger together. Humans and dragons side by side. Our bond is not born of fear or submission, but of trust and courage. Today we begin a new era." The human watched, feeling a strange warmth inside. He had fixed machines before, repaired engines and solved problems, but nothing like this. Nothing had made him feel so proud, so alive. He realized that even one human could change the fate of a world, or many worlds. That was the truth of HFY. Humans were small, yes, but powerful in ways that no one could measure. As the days passed, the human continued to help the Emperor. They traveled across the empire, meeting dragons and humans alike, strengthening bonds, solving problems, and building trust. Sometimes, the human felt the Emperor's pulse in his own chest, a gentle reminder that they were linked forever. Other times, he could sense danger before it arrived, an echo of the dragon's ancient instincts flowing through him. Enemies, hidden in distant galaxies, had seen the fusion and feared it. They whispered of a human and dragon united, a force unlike any other. And perhaps, for the first time, the universe realized that legends were not only born of strength, they were born of courage, heart, and unity. One evening, as the sun set over the empire, painting the sky with gold and crimson, the Emperor and the humans stood on a hill overlooking their world. The cities glowed softly, dragons circled the skies, and the wind carried the laughter of children playing freely. "You changed everything, human," the Emperor said softly. "You risked life and comfort, and in return, you have become part of history. Not as a servant, not as a follower, but as my equal, my partner." The human felt a shiver run down his spine. "I never expected this. I just wanted to help." The Emperor lowered his head so that his glowing eye met the human's. "That is exactly why it matters. You acted without expectation. You gave because you could. And now, together we will protect this empire and many others for generations to come." The human smiled, a mixture of pride and wonder. He could feel the Emperor's heartbeat, steady and strong, pulsing in rhythm with his own. It was a bond beyond life and death. Together they had survived the impossible, defeated loneliness, and brought hope back to a broken world. Above them, dragons roared in triumph, their voices echoing across mountains and rivers. Below, humans cheered, no longer afraid, no longer small in the face of legend. Together they had rewritten the rules. Together they had shown that courage, heart, and humanity could stand against any darkness. The Dragon Emperor looked to the stars. "A new legend begins today," he said. "One of humans and dragons side by side. One of courage and hope. One that will be remembered for all time." The human nodded, feeling the weight of everything they had accomplished. He had given half his heart, and gained a bond, a purpose, and a story that would live forever. He had learned that even the smallest human could stand beside a god, could save a legend, and could change the universe. The sun disappeared behind the mountains, leaving the sky filled with stars. The Dragon Emperor breathed deeply, no longer alone. The human stood beside him, ready to face whatever came next. Together they would protect their world, their people, and the bond that would become a legend for all ages. And so, a new era began.